All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is November 19th, 2018, and this is a Monday night webinar. And the title of tonight's webinar is Wait for the Trade. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar, other webinars we have, our live trading room, or anything else with Viper Trading Systems should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? If not, we're going to go ahead and get started. And bear with me just a second. What I want to do first, with newer people in the room and everything, first I want to get everybody's idea of which way we would be looking for a trade on this chart. Anybody? I know that gets repetitious, but believe it or not, I talk to so many people that they still, have to train their eyes to see this in real time, the way the markets move. Sure, it's up, right? So the question would be, would you be taking short trades? And the answer should be no, right? Unless you're doing some scalping. Now, the way I personally see this chart right this very second is if they were to break this little swing right here, if they were to do like a thrust, retrace, got a lower high, and then broke this, then I'd probably be looking for a wait for the trade and a rollover, okay? If they bounce here instead, then I'd be looking for a long trade. So let's see what happens here, and we'll see what actually goes on. Okay. So what says the team right now? What do you think? What would you do in this situation right now? Because it's important, if you're gonna, for instance, short just because you saw this break a little swing and everything, unless you're a scalper and you take your money quickly, you can't go for runners. You have to actually, for instance, if this was going to head up, I would expect to have a high, a low, a higher low, and a higher high. Okay, so even without looking at the chart, I would want it to at least be above this 17 area by probably a tick or two. In other words, so that if you were to get a trade back to the upside, it would be somewhere in this area right here as far as taking off. Now, we've got a lot better indicators than just looking at Lightning 3 on the chart, or even Lightning 1 mixed with Lightning 3. We've got our scripts. Let's see, no short if a mid-band or minimum requirements go. Let's see, if at mid-band or minimum. Right, exactly, Richard, on your question. Now, could you actually, if you're good enough to see this happening in real time, not caring what the color of the background is or anything, could you actually short that break? Well, yeah, in hindsight, right? Because we know it broke down here. But, what if it just barely broke this and then whipped right back in your face? You've got to pretty much stay with the trend the way it is. If you're going to short like little trend line breaks and things, and my next webinar, we're going to talk about these trend lines, how you can use them and you can be successful using them. Okay, but you have to literally get in the trade, take some quick coin, even go against trends and everything. Okay, now what I'd also do probably would be something like this. I'd draw like a trend line and see that we're actually breaking it a little bit right now. So, we could actually start heading down, but we would have to break this and come back and kiss to ever get something like this. Okay, or we're going to get a higher low and we're going to head up from where we're at. So let's look at the actual chart and let's see what actually happened. All right. Now here's your actual chart right here, and look how beautiful our whole setup is. Okay. It's just a really good setup and a good way to look at these charts. Okay. Because, the whole thing is, if you actually get in the habit of really, watching these charts and getting a good idea of where things are going, you're going to make some pretty decent coin on your trades. Okay. So now let me ask a quick question to anybody that wants to answer it. What do you think we're looking for right this very second? Anybody? What would you be looking for right now? If you were walking into your computer and you said, you know what, I think I'm going to trade this. I'm looking for longs. I start drawing my lines like this. And I know that until it breaks this, I'm not really heading down. Now, could I get a phantom trade possibly? Could I get a mid-band trade possibly? Well, mid-band's already, bounced a little bit. So right now, I probably wouldn't be looking at taking a mid-band trade as much as I would be looking at taking, basically like even a trend line trade to give an example, or wait for it to, touch like phantom or something like that. Okay. So that's what I mean when I say wait for the trade to come to you. Because for instance, like right here, when this thrust up, you notice the swing over here. That's what it means. Wait for that trade to come to you. Was that a beautiful trade right there off of that swing right there and really close to our mid band? And I know Charles teaches this, and I teach this a lot too. And that is, you're going to be wanting to look for these retracements, okay, that come below line 6 on a long. They've got to close below line 6 and stealth, right? Now, where'd my stealth go? I don't have a stealth. Let me see if I can get a stealth real quick. Just a second. Reload our chart. See if we can get a stealth. When you stop Ninja Trade, there we go. We got a stealth. All right. Let's go back to this and look at it. See your stealth right here? Notice that this wicked it, this wicked it. This one closed below it, but it didn't close below line 6. This one did. So what you're looking for, always look to the left to trade the right. The left first, the left second. Okay. So what I normally do is I look for this particular swing if it's going to go lower, and I look for this particular swing if it's going to just bounce off support. Okay. Now this has already met that criteria though. What if it doesn't come down here like this? What if all of a sudden you just simply get a good trade because it pops right back above this line 6? Well, couldn't you actually, basically box it in? And if it does actually come back above there, you'd take it. Otherwise, you'd wait for it to kiss, rebox, right? And I usually like to do something about like this myself. And keep in mind that you want to have at least 10 ticks or so to a top. If you look to the left and you don't have at least those 10 ticks, you got to be real careful with trades, because then you're pretty much topping out. But see, that trade actually worked, and worked quite well. Okay. But let's say that you missed this trade, and now you've also been taught, hey, I've got to wait for the retracement. I'm not going to chase it way up here, because let's say, for instance, that you decided to buy this right here. You're just thinking this thing's going nuts and it's going to go up, up, up. And then instead what it does to you is it barely goes up, takes out the high, and then it comes back down. Okay. So now we're right where we want to get ready to take our trade. Okay. So what would you do in a case like this? Anybody? I like to at least get, if at all possible, an ABC. Because if you don't get this little move like this, see this A, I'm going to change the color of this so you can see it a lot better, because blue candles don't do it any justice. We'll just do it like, let's just do it in white. All right. And then we're going to fatten the line a little bit too. Make it nice and heavy. All right. You're really looking for this ABC type action, not this straight down, because this is what will usually get you, because you'll jump in at like mid-band. You don't really have a box to draw. And what will they normally do on you? They'll usually go up about halfway in this move, which is at resistance, and roll over. You see that 100 times if you've watched charts. And believe me, here at Viper, we watch charts every single day. So this to me is not a trade just because it went to mid-band. I like to see this action if at all possible. Now, if you were going to take this one, you would have already been in it on that bar close, because see, these bars went straight down. That one went back up. You're in. You take the trade and you don't let it go back against you. Okay. That's the only way to take this particular move, because you don't know at the time if it's just going to do this and just keep on going. It may come up, pull back a little bit, and then keep on trucking. So you can take that trade. Okay. But keep in mind that the best way to take this trade is if it does some type of an A. We don't know where it's going to retrace, but I'd just venture to say it'd be somewhere right in here, looking to the left to trade the right. See it right there, that swing. And so I'd be looking for an A, a B, and hopefully a C, but not take out my swing. Because the rule of thumb on trading long trends is low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? And if you don't get that, then you got to be watching for double tops and different things like that. But always diagnose your chart to where if they do decide to break down, that you're going to be looking for shorts. Okay? But until they break this, you're not looking for shorts. Okay? Now, remember what we talked about on phantoms a couple of weeks ago? That your phantom is good as long as they don't break this swing by very much at all. I usually don't like it to even go more than, 3 or 4 ticks underneath it, like a bar, because they will do that to you. Okay. But the best trade that you could have on this would be if it just simply came in this area right here and bounced, because that would then tell you that you're getting a low and a higher high, high, low, higher low, and then go up and take out this high or double top or whatever it's going to do. Okay. So again, waiting for the trade is super, super important. Now, I called some trades on oil this morning, and we're not even there yet. We're way in the middle of the night so far. Okay. So, we don't even have a trade, that we took this morning, because I just simply put my clock at 8:37 p.m. is approximately where I basically started it. I don't trade this, on Sundays usually, but you can. But again, even if you trade this on Sunday, what's the rule of thumb? Well, at 5 o'clock, this thing decided to break up, pulls back, and it gave you a trade. But you had to wait for like 3 hours. Okay. Or, of course, you could box it in around mid-band and you could have gotten this trade, but that was 4 minutes into the open of the market. I'd usually do something like this and draw a trend line and not take it till it broke that trend line. Okay. All right. So let's see if we can get us a trade. We've already diagnosed our chart. Now, the thing is, you've got to get to the point, though, where you diagnose your chart in real time, so that for instance, if I miss a trade in that room, you notice that I don't go chasing it around, because if you miss it, you missed it. Otherwise you're chasing a trade. If you chase a trade, more than likely your odds are going to be quite a bit that you're going to get taken. Cross, on your question, you're a newbie here, no problem. I'm on Central Time. Now, if you go to Charles's webinar, you're going to see his charts are always on Pacific Time. But I live in the Chicago time zone. I'm in Oklahoma Central Time. Okay. All right. I went a little bit deeper on trying to explain this, because I think this is extremely important. Okay. Because we talk about this all the time. If you're looking at higher lows and higher highs, are you really wanting to short a market? And the answer is really no, because, when you're going to get these monster moves like we did this morning and like we do most every morning, you're only going to, for instance, if this was to decide to break down, again, I'd be looking for a break, a red background. It would have to do at least that. A minimum criteria trade to set up, and then a rollover. That would be the only way you would take, and this would have to come back above this line 2. But keep in mind, if this starts going back down, line 2 will actually start dropping instead. So, more than likely, I'd expect this to probably break here, come back and kiss it, and then roll over. Or I expect it to bounce here and head up. Okay, so let's see what we get. We've diagnosed our chart, and I'm going to get rid of these lines, and we're going to just see what happens. Now, again, I'm expecting longs, not shorts, okay, because we've got a nice swing over here that's identified. And remember, identified swing is really important because that means that your overall trend is actually to the upside. Okay, some of our people definitely take these trades like this, thrust, retrace, draw trend lines under those lows. When you see this happening where it kind of goes sideways, they could short that. You might get 10 ticks, but that's not the type of trading we're going to talk about tonight. And you would have already been in the trade too. Okay, so let's just fast forward this a little bit. And I want everybody in here to tell me when you see the trade set up. We'll let it go for just a minute and see what it does. Now, you got to get a bar down before you ever get any kind of a box, right? On a long, that is. The opposite on a short, obviously. So if this bar, does close down, you could get ready to box it. Okay, that bar didn't close down at all, so we're still waiting on a trade. Remember, we missed the mid band already, so we're not chasing this trade. And like I said, I don't like this trade to begin with because it's straight down. There's not an ABC. This had an ABC. ABC. Okay, this one hasn't had one as of yet. Will it get one? Maybe. We're going to find out. We'll wait until we do. Let me speed this up a little bit. This is pretty slow. We'll speed it up to about 50 times. Hopefully it won't go so fast we can't grab it. How many of you trade when it's so slow that you could look at grass grow much easier? Okay, now we are getting a thrust. See, you have an A, a B. You don't have a C yet. Now, C, as a rule, they're going to take out the swing they just made. Everybody see that? And if you get a higher low, then you're expecting it to head back up. All right. Now, if you're into this where you just simply short at mid-band, I want you to be real cautious about that because, a lot of times if you just short the mid-band, you might get a scalp and you might not. Okay. Now, when Charles teaches getting in at the mid-band, he loves these little trades like this. Okay, let me show you. See when this starts consolidating with candles just right beside each other? That's when you like to box in a trade. When they're like this, when they're all over the place, it's when they consolidate like this right around mid-band that you want to box. And of course, if you were watching this in real time, you know that support's down here, so you're not going to short it, right? Because what's the rule of thumb? We want at least 10 ticks on a trade. So if that was to, let's say you were watching this in real time, you said, whoa, wait a minute, I don't have 10 ticks between 91 and 84. And if I take a short bar off here, I won't have even 3 ticks. So why would I want to take that trade? Okay. So just remember to stay on the right side of the trend. And we try to give you indicators that keep you on the right side of the trend. Let's see where we're at so far. Let's put Object Trader on. We'll actually take a trade. See what it does. Now, I normally, for newbies in here, by the way, I run this on replay so that we can teach, how to see the trade, how to box in the trade, how to take the trade. All right. Now, normally what I do by now is I draw a region by just simply hitting my region box. I don't turn any of these on yet. Because if I see it do something and I want to grab it, I'll just hit buy. Okay. But in the meantime, I want to try to get a little boxed in trade. and I want an ABC first. See, an A, a B, and a C will usually break that swing. So we need an A, a B, and a C to break that swing. But we don't want to break this one, right? So that's what we're waiting on. Okay, so far you've got a swing here, but you don't have an ABC yet. Like that, right? If it was to decide to break up, but is there 10 ticks between here and there? And if you got filled at the right spot, there might be. Now your predictor is saying right now that they're going to come down to here. So look at this. Now we see we've got a line. Predictor says we're going to either bounce off predictor, or if we don't break down, we're not going to take out this line right here. Okay. And you look at the chart and you say, okay, I went with a phantom trade, ratcheted up, so I'm looking for another phantom trade. Haven't had one. So we are looking for one. See if we can get anything even close to a phantom. We'll box it. Even with oil, I'd probably at least do 2. Let's see if we can get a box. That's going 500 times, and that's slow. We need our ABC. There's the ABC. Just took it out. Okay, everybody see this right here? This is actually where we want this trade if it doesn't break. So could you actually box this? Something like that right there. And if it did like a lower bar and then it pops up through here, I usually like to do about a touch plus 2. And we'll see if we can get that trade. It met our criteria exactly, right? Now, it doesn't mean it's not going to go a little bit lower. That's not quite a phantom trade. It didn't touch line 2. It just missed it by... No, it actually did touch line 2. That is a phantom trade. It didn't close below it. My favorite trade is when it closes inside this area right here, but not in this case, because what would it have to do that? It would have to break our trend. Everybody see that? Okay. So we're looking for, on the left side of the screen, high, low, higher, high. This is our left-hand trend. This is our right-hand trend, high, low, high, lower, low, but not lower than this. So we're still looking for a long trade. See if we get something. Now, when you diagnose your charts, by the way, also keep in mind that what you want to do is you want to also realize that if this doesn't take out highs and everything, you know, you can draw your lines on your charts because they've clearly got resistance up here and resistance right across here. Okay, so we're going to see what they do at those two places. All right. Let's see if we can get something. Man, this is a slow market that time of night. There's our touch plus 2, so it fired. Okay, we'll put our stop just underneath the swing. Okay, and it looks like we got one target. Okay, I'd probably put my stop at mid-band just in case this doesn't go up and take out that top, because you could actually get another trade possibly if they do take you out. We'll see. Or you could turn on what? Lightning? Like PM1 and simply get out if they happen to go with a red meter at all. Okay. Now you've got resistance here and support down here, right? So this is our little sweet area that we're going to be taking some trades on. And by the way, if you just want to scalp, to give an example, let's say that you get to, you know, I don't know, let's just say you get to $300. Let's see if we can get to 3. And if you do, you could just hit close. I mean, if you think about it, you know, a $300 trade is not too shabby. And if you do let it go all the way down here, you're going to have about 150. Okay. So for instance, if you do get your 300, you can always just say, you know what, I'll just hit close if I do, because that doesn't look like it's going to do it. See the swing to the left? If it takes us out, it will change this to red, and we'll be flat on the trade. If it keeps going up, we'll be okay. I'll go ahead and put this up here just in case. And then this is going to only change to red if it takes out this little swing right across here. Let's see what it does. All right, you have a higher high, so if it takes out this swing, it will take you out. This will turn red. And the second it does, it'll fire that market order. Not yet. Now it will if it takes out that little swing right there. So far, it's not taking out any swings, is it? It's not. There you go. You just got taken out. Now, notice that you got like $190 on that instead of, we never hit our 300. Now, let me ask a quick question. Is this a trade that we've got right here at mid-band again, yes or no? You are getting a high, a low, a lower high, but you're not getting a lower low. Could you box this in? What says the team on that? You want to try it, or you want to wait for, you do have an ABC. See the high, the low, the lower high, the lower low? So you did get an ABC. You want to try it? We'll do a bar close. See if we get anything. And notice the reason that I did that too is this predictor. Because this is really good at predicting where these prices are going. I'm pretty amazed at these predictors actually. They, you see them time and time again where they give some great trades like this. Now, we don't know for sure if it's going to because we haven't fired above that mid-band yet. And if you're a little bit more conservative instead, I like to have a bar closed down so I can box it in. Let's see, are you pretty strict on the ABC retracement before you enter? Shane, on your question, not always, but keep in mind when you just come, like for instance, you check your chart and you've got a low, and then they just take those bars straight down, and then the bar goes up. I'll usually grab it right there when that bar goes up, and I don't let it even go against me. If that bar goes up, that bar goes up, that bar goes up, that bar goes down, it takes out that little swing there, I'm out. Because if you don't do that, you can't really get these little scalps like this. Let's see if we get anything. We got a bar close turned on. There's your bar close. And you can put your stop just under the swing. See the little micro swing, thrust, retrace, thrust. Now bring it under here. Or just turn this on. Your little PM. And you got stopped out. You got $400. Okay. Now let me ask you a quick question on this chart. What did we just do just a second ago? We have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high, but we still don't have a lower low. So let's diagnose our chart and see if we can figure out where this is going. We'll get rid of all the lines. I'm going to draw a new one. I've got support right there, and that was a little higher low. So I'm pretty much thinking it has to take this out to head down, if it's going to head down at all. Okay. Now this is another predictor right here. Could you box this in? Anybody? Yeah. Yeah, you can box it in and you could scalp it. Let's see if we can get, again, you're looking for a candle down so that you can box it. Okay, let's see if we get something like that. And we'll box it and we'll try to scalp it. Bar going to close down? Maybe? Nope. Nope. Nope, we didn't get a bar close down. So I'm not going to actually take that trade just yet, because to box it, you really need it to actually give you a bar down, and it didn't do it. Now there's one down. Could you box this here at mid-band? Anybody? What says the team? If that bar closes, now I wouldn't do this. I'd probably do the more like a trend line. You want to try a trend line? See if we can get a little scalp? We'll try a trend line. If they breach our little wedge by 2 ticks, we'll fire a quick trade and we'll put a really tight stop on it, because I don't like double tops. Okay, we're in. We're going to put a nice tight stop like that. Resistance is right across thrust retrace, basically right through here even. You got a little resistance right there I'd try to get to, because they've already checked this one here, so probably check that one. Tighten it a little bit more just in case. Now I'd probably turn on exit on close though, because just so you don't get wicked out of this thing, because this may go up a little bit more. We don't know yet, but it might. We'll see. And this is pretty sideways. Looks like it's going to get us. All right, so we gave up some on that one. See there? Now I'd probably wait, because this has now got a high, a low, a lower high. It seems like they're trying to stair step down, but we're not looking for shorts yet. Okay? We're not looking for shorts yet. Now I would probably also, if it does take out mid-band again, or makes a little box without taking this out, I would probably box it again. Let's see if we get anything like that. If it takes out that little swing to the left, we'll take it. No dice. Took it out. I'm going to take a chance on it. Very tight stop. Okay. Now see, this is where if you wait for the trade to come to you, you know, you're not going to give a lot of your money back, but you're going to put really, really tight stops just in case. Okay. Because this looks like some overall total chop to me now. More than likely, you're going to get chopped around a little bit. So you want to be careful with it, because even 8 ticks with 2 contracts is $160 of your money back. Gone. Okay. Let me see if I missed any questions just real quick. Yeah, you're looking at longs only right now. Now, if I was taking this like right now, I would probably still put my stop underneath here, because this still looks like a long trade to me with a higher low. Now, if they fool me, they'll actually get me for 10 full ticks though. Now, if they'll make a little zigzag, I'll put my stop a lot tighter. See, you had a thrust up, a little retrace. If this bar closes up, that can be your new lightning swing, if this will close above this swing. But you can also protect your coin like that anyway, just in case. See what I mean? See, I'm only risking like 3 ticks on this now. Okay, let's go ahead and everybody get pretty much what we're talking about here. You know, watch these predictors, wait for the trade to come to you. If they get choppy sideways, you got to at least let them hit like a support level and then bounce. That's what we did right here where we got in. You know, will this be a decent trade? Well, we're up 300 again. And it looks like we're going to be okay. You can move this out of the way. If they do happen to take this top out, then you could actually continue heading up. If they don't take this top out, they're just going sideways. Everybody see that? Now what I'm going to do, we're going to go to the open. That looks like that's getting me. All right. Oh, here we go. Here we go. What did we talk about just a few minutes ago? If it breaks support, if the background turns red, what are we looking for, team? Resistance is right there. And what are we looking for? We're looking for what we call a minimum criteria trade. Now what are we looking for? Anybody? It could be a phantom, but keep in mind that when they take out Lightning 3, they're not usually phantoms. Remember we talked about that in that last webinar 2 weeks ago? Okay. And plus we had high, low, lower, high, higher, low, lower, high. So they're basically just a coiled spring waiting to do one thing, one or another, either continue up or reverse, right? So let's see if we can get something. Now we're not chasers. For instance, if you're going to short this right here, you're probably making a big mistake. Okay. And you'll probably give your money away. But what if you wait for this trade? You wait for it to break stealth and break, obviously, line 2, which it has to break line 2 to break stealth. So we're looking for a little sweet spot trade right in this area here. And if stealth keeps dropping, of course, this box will change also. Let's see if we can get something. Now, by the way, this doesn't have to change. This is sideways, so this actually means we are breaking support. Okay. Now, if you're more of a breakout trader, you could have taken this trade way up in, for instance, if you drew a trend line even. Okay. But we were looking for longs only at that time. So let's see if we can get a minimum criteria trade. Remember, you have to wait. The title of this webinar is Wait for the Trade to Come to You. I'd draw some areas that it should be able to come back to. It could come back as high as mid-band. But if we only get a minimum criteria trade, it's got to come back at least into this little area, right, as we speak right now, right here. It's got to close above stealth. Now remember, on the short side, line 2 is under stealth, and on the long side, stealth is actually below line 6. Okay, so if you take a minimum criteria trade on this one, you have to break stealth and line 6, so it'd be on this bar right here, and you'd basically be boxing in or drawing a trend line. Okay, let's see if we can get something. No minimum criteria yet, right, everyone? And if you don't get minimum criteria, don't chase a trade. Because I could almost show you, well, it's too late now, but if you were to actually chase this trade right where it's at, I'll bet you it retraces on you. And that's what the markets love to do to people. That's why we are retracement traders. What if we don't get a retracement trade up here? Well, then we would have to break this, like so, and then come back and kiss. So we would have to break and then come back and kiss a resistance level and then break down. And that's what we'd also take that trade even, but we're not going to take a thrust type trade because we thrust it already. Okay, it broke support, so we're looking for shorts, and we're looking for this little sweet spot between line 2 and line stealth. Now you're getting a low, a high, a higher low. If we get a higher high, maybe we'll take out stealth. Draw your lines on your charts. That would be above stealth if it happened to kiss that line. And look to your immediate left as a rule, for price, and then look also to the left like here. I draw 2 lines on my charts like this. So I'm looking for not so much this trade because it won't be a minimum criteria, but I am looking for this trade. Now, we have a rule of thumb, though. You don't just take it because it gets up there. It's got to roll over. Okay? If you don't wait for it to roll over, you're going to get on the wrong side of trades too often. Because could this actually be nothing but a deep retrace and just take off again? Well, yes and no. You wouldn't know that until it actually thrusts up, retraces, pops up again, pulls back and kisses a support level. Okay? Which we haven't done yet. Let's see if we get this little trade. We'll box it. We'll box it. I usually go ahead and turn my region on. Get it ready to roll. There's stealth right there. There's line 2. So I'm going to be looking at a little break if it happens to break this little swing right across here. Okay, or if it makes a what we used to call the old, somebody asked me the other day, or asked Linda, what the Potter trade was. Everybody remember that's been with us a while? It was just the lightning trade. It was named that because of the Harry Potter lightning bolt on his head. Yeah, that's all it was. All right, see, we wicked it. We didn't get in it yet. But that is a minimum criteria trade. Closed above stealth, closed above line 2. It's kissing resistance and then some. It's actually kissing a little higher like this swing. See it? You know, always draw on your charts. And we're just going to be ready to take this trade if it happens to go in. We've got at least 10 ticks to the bottom. And that's boxing in. And we haven't got the trade yet, but that is boxing in. If this doesn't happen to go up higher, we'll still box it in. If it goes to mid-band, that looks like that's going to fire. That's 2 ticks, but not the third one yet. There you go. You're in. All right, we'd put our stop just at the swing just in case. Exit on close. All right. And you could also, if this is going to stair step down, it should even hold lightning, which is right here. Okay. But until we go ahead and break a little bit more, if we're going to break a little bit more, and I'd probably want to protect some coin right down here at this low. Simply because that's what you want to do. If it bounces off support, then you're going to tighten your stop. Okay. Everybody see how to take this trade? We diagnosed this ahead of time. Okay, now let me ask a quick question to the team. Let's say you missed that trade entirely. You didn't take it. So we're going to look for what kind of trade, everybody? An ABC rollover? Okay, let's see if we can get one. We'll go ahead and get this region out of the way for right now. I'm just going to watch. And let's diagnose our chart and see if we can figure out where it's going to be. All right, so you have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high, you have a lower low. They cannot take out this swing right here and continue down. Everybody sees that, right? So we're looking for a retracement trade. Draw on your chart. Draw on your chart. That's mid-band right there. So I've got 2 lines drawn on my chart right now. Now we're not chasing this, right? Anybody? Because if you go chasing this trade right now, I could practically show you more than likely you're going to give up a lot of this money. And too many people chase trades. If you're thinking, wow, this is heading down, I'm going to short 4. Then it's probably going to retrace on you right the moment you do it. How many have done that? You think, wow, this thing's just dropping to the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and short it now. And so you think, oh, that bar closed even. So you hit sell. You see what I'm getting at? And you're thinking, oh my gosh, this thing's going. What if it does one more bar? I'll go ahead and do it if it does one more bar. And then you're down here instead. And then you get in the moment they decide to retrace. Now, I don't know. They may take this one down. It looks like they might. Looking to the left to trade the right, I see a swing down here, like so. That's our secondary lightning 3 swing. And we're not chasers, right? We're going to actually wait. Where's our trade? Anybody? If we get minimum criteria, we have to break line 2 and stealth. So we're going to be looking at least here, at this moment anyway. Now, if this drops further, we're going to drop this. Mid-band may even drop. Okay? But we're still looking. See how stealth's dropping? So we're now looking about through here. Mid-band's dropping a little bit, so now we're looking here. It hit our support level where we drew our line. Well, does anybody want to bet it'll probably bounce right here? That's support. Well, that would have been one of the times you could have gone ahead and shorted it and gotten a little bit right, but you never know that. And I'll tell you, the times I've ever gotten stupid and actually hit the button on a thrust is usually when they'll nail you. Now, if you're going to just go green only, you can hit that button anytime you want, but don't go putting a 12 tick stop on something that's a thrust, because it'll bite you and it'll bite you hard. See there? Bounced off support. Where's our trade now? Anybody? Well, it's at least here or it's here. Okay. Look to the left to trade the right. You got to swing right across here, like so. So I'm looking for a trade either here or here. Everybody see that? I'm drawing on my chart ahead of time. Okay. So I know that we're looking for what? An A, a B, and a C if we get it. Let's see if we get something. Got to have a bar down at least. If we don't get a bar down, we're not chasing this thing. There's a bar down. All right, there's an A. Even with that one bar down, that's still an A, by the way. You notice that? Because you're no longer, see, you've got an A, a B. Now, if it takes this out, all bets are off. We'll have to redraw. There's an A, a B. Got a little sweet trade right in through here, also up here. There's your A, your B, there's your C. It just took out the C to the left there. And now you're getting ready to box it in. Everybody see that? Okay, so what could we do? Well, here's what we could do. We'll get rid of this region because we don't need it anymore. We'll do the actual region. We'll hit our insert key. We'll short it if it goes below line 6 with a close of a bar. And we'll short this area right here if it happens to kiss. And keep in mind that if this blows through midband, I'm going to hit close. Okay, now that's an aggressive trade. If you want to wait, instead of just putting your region in like this with a short inside like that, then you got to wait for the box. Okay, and you're not always going to catch it because let's just see what it does. Let's see what it does. Okay, there's a yellow bar. Well, I went ahead and did it, so we're in. But that's an aggressive trade, by the way, because I drew on my chart. Okay, what if you weren't in this trade just yet? Let's close it. Who can see where to get this trade? Anybody? Let's do a wedge. And let's draw it like that. Like so. And then basically, let's do out through the bottom, touch plus 2, and see if we get something. See how my trade was perfect, though? How many of those do we nail in that room every day? I mean, I drew that line perfectly right there because I've taught this for so many years that you've just learned to see this. Okay, you learn to see the swings to the left. You look to the left to trade the right. Okay, now could this actually just keep blowing up here? Absolutely. But if it rolls over, and by the way, it rolled over at midband, so I'd probably already be in it. But let's just do a wedge trade instead and see if we can get it. Hopefully that wedge will fire. Touch plus 2. Let's just do touch plus 1 because if it does 1, it has to do 2 to get the trade. Okay, so we're in. We're going to put our stop nice and tight above midband with the exit on close. We're going to put our target at the bottom. And we're going to move 1 out of the way. Look to the left to trade the right. Got support down in this area. Here. Here. And here. Just draw on your chart. And I just ride this thing down just to see what it gives you. Turned out to be a good little trade, didn't it? Now, see, this is like 3:30 in the morning, but let's just say that you didn't get this trade, all right, and you've already seen it roll over. Okay, let's see if you can figure out the next trade. All right, so we're going to remove this line. We'll leave these because we drew them at sport. But are we thrust traders, anybody? You already missed the trade. Are you going to chase this? Do you just go ahead and hit sell right now? Oh my gosh, I'm missing it, I'm missing it, I'm missing it. No, no. Because what's it more than likely going to do? Draw on your charts and you'll see ahead of time what it's going to do. If it takes out this low, it can't take out this high. If it's going to head down. You already know that. It hadn't taken this low out yet, so you don't have a high established yet. If you get a higher low, they could easily take this out, do an A, B, C, like a Gartley, and then roll over. But if they take this out, this is an identified swing. Let's see if they did. I don't know if they did or not. 4 o'clock in the morning. Yep, they took it out. So is this an identified swing? So your job as a trader now is to know that you cannot take this out and continue heading down because you have a high, you have a low, you have a lower high, you have a lower low. Okay, so if your next trade has to be lower than this, wouldn't you pretty much say it's going to be right in this area right here? Look to the left to trade the right and see where your swings are. There's a swing right here. They haven't tested yet. Mid-band's right there now with it. So is my trade pretty much, see, they tested this swing. They haven't tested this swing, looking to the left to trade the right, right? They have tested this one though. See it pretty much right across there. If you draw your line, you'll see it. See, they've tested that one, so look to the left, and they haven't tested that one. So let's see if we can get a trade. I'm going to do a region. We're going to bring it up where we want it. Can't go any higher than this, right? So we could actually set a short inside at the top of this thing, but unfortunately, if it comes to the bottom and you got this turned on, it would fire it anyway. But are we chasers? Yes or no? No, because it's already made us run. So if you're chasing trades like this, I could guarantee you I could liquidate that $520 pretty easily. All I'd have to do is probably sell it. You see what I mean? You know, in other words, you're selling the low. Is it the low? We don't know. But if it is the low, this would disappear real quick because you'd have to put your stop at least above a swing 10 ticks back or 12 ticks back. 2 contracts is $240 on that. So no, we're retrace traders. So let's see if we get a retrace. Okay, there's an A, a B, that's a higher low. See it? Low's where my cursor's at. High, higher low, higher high, right in my box where I expect it to go. Looking to the left to trade the right. And you could also now move this to where if it does decide to take out line 6 or kiss this mid-band, you could actually take this trade with 1 or 2 touch. And if they make a little tighter box, I'm going to tighten this region. Okay, let's see if we get that trade at all. So no more chasers, right? How many times has this happened to everybody in this room? You think they don't know where you're getting in those trades? You think they don't know when they're pushing you to get in these trades? They've got algorithms that'll make sure that you miss this trade because you're thinking, oh my gosh, that might not be deep enough retracement. That's why we've designed our indicators to really catch these trades. There you go. Just got your trade. Now that's a little late for me. I like it a little bit earlier than that, but that's fine. We'll take it. We'll put our stop just above this swing for right now because that's so close to this one. So I'm going to put my stop just right there at that swing exit on close. All right, let's see if this materializes in anything worthwhile. Now, by the way, if you're more of a where you have to have a high, a low, a lower high, and for instance, break the the little box, you could also do that. I could do a PM short, and if it takes that out, this will go red. I could add to. Or let's say that you weren't in this trade and you wanted to take it only if this turns red. If it's going to turn red, we'll see. It would take out this swing if it does right there. See the high, the low, the lower high, then this high. And if it takes that out, it would change that to red. Designed those pretty well, didn't we? That lightning's my baby. I love it. No break. This is a little bit more conservative. But keep in mind on conservative, you got to put your stop here. Or here at least. If this breaks with a full bar down, you might even try to put your stop here. But a lot of times they'll take it out, so you might want to go here. Let's see if we get this trade at all. We didn't get it on our PM. Not sure exactly why. I think I turned it up too much. Okay, so you missed a trade. What are you going to do next? Wait for the trade to come to you? Didn't we talk about that? Okay, so let's diagnose our chart and we'll see. May not get to today's trading because I want to show everybody to see how you can see on your charts where your trades are. Wait for the trade to come to you. Look to the left. Got a swing right there. Let's see. Have they kissed it? Nope. Haven't kissed it yet. You got a predictor saying they're going to come here. You got a high here, low here, so that's lower. So they can't take this out if we're going to head down, right? So this is actually a little sweet spot right in through here, like so, because you don't want to take out this swing at 02. Okay? They could kiss it and still roll over. Okay? But keep in mind, as long as this is heading down, you're going to get lower highs and lower lows. Okay? Because if it quits heading down, then you're going to get a deeper retracement, like a phantom possibly. And we'll see if we get that. Let's see if we can get a trade. No ABC. Well, yeah, it actually does have an ABC. I'll take that. See it kiss midband. Now that's actually a little aggressive. If you don't want to be that aggressive, then what you want to do is you want to box it in. And I'll show you the box. Let's just go ahead and use that box. Where would we put our stop? Anybody? Right there. Why? Because if they take that out, they're not heading down any longer. Doesn't mean they're going long, but they're not heading down any longer. Okay, because we have a high, a low, lower high, lower low. That's an identified swing. And it looks like we just nailed another trade. Everybody see that? We'll lower that stop here in just a minute. Let's see, off subject question here. Why is frozen? It has been at 57.17 since 5 o'clock Central. Not on my charts though, right? I mean, you're seeing my charts that have got everything showing and it's moving. They are really great. Cross on your question. The backgrounds are with our algorithms. The mid bands with our algorithms. And they will give you some really good trades. You're looking for these mid-band trades. You're looking for these thrusts and retracement trades like I showed here. When you come, see this line we talked about earlier? This is what we call a minimum criteria trade. It's a good trade. This is a minimum criteria trade that rolled over, just the way we teach it. Are you worried about this trade yet? Anybody? Not with our one contract left, but we would go ahead and lower our stop. Look to the left to trade the right. There's a swing that's identified right across here. See it? See the lightning swing right there? Now you got a lightning swing here, but it's not identified yet, is it? If it takes this swing out, it'll be identified. So could you lower your stop in that case? And the answer is yes, if that bar closes. and it closed. So that's an identified swing. And see, you can actually ride these things down with lightning and just watch your chart. Where would my stop need to be right now? Well, still up here because my identified swing's here. Okay, if it rolls over, where might my new identified swing be? Might be here now. Let's see what we get. High, low, lower high so far. Needs to roll. It rolled. Could this be my new swing? As soon as it takes this out, it is. See there? Just keep lowering your stop accordingly and move your target out of the way because you don't know how far this is going to go down. Okay? And just watch your swings. Is this as low as it's going to go? It might be. Took out the low. Not quite. Didn't close. Could be over. What do you think? Anybody? Well, we don't know yet if it's over, but let's just ride it and see what it gives us. If it closes below that little area right here, we're going to have a nice swing to put our stop at. That's good enough for me. See it right there? Close below, stops right here, and it took us out. Everybody see how easy that is to do? Now, what if you just woke up at 6:19 in the morning? Does anybody see a trade setting up before your eyes? Predictor, minimum criteria trade, just like we talked about. Could you actually take this trade? Yes or no? Well, if you did, you'd want it to take out lines 2, a touch, a short, and see if you get a trade. Let's just see if we do. Okay, we're in. We're going to put our stop nice and tight right there. Otherwise, you'd have to put it way up here, and I don't like that. What does everybody think? You want to wait for the trade to come to you from now on? What trade have we not had yet? Anybody? If you were trading this morning, and I was this morning, so I remember exactly a little trade that's set up. And what trade are we looking for that's a deep retracement? Anybody? A phantom. Yeah, now that's double bottoming, by the way, so far. See it? Is this trade over? Well, your swing's right there. Definitely double bottoming. Hadn't taken us out yet, though. Still hadn't taken us out yet, and it looks like it might. Yep, got us. Okay, so let's look to the left. Let's see if we can get one more trade, and we're going to do it strictly on a conservative way instead of any kind of aggressive, but let's look at our chart and see if we can nail it. Okay, so where have they not checked? Let's draw some lines. They haven't checked here. They haven't checked here. They have checked here, so that one doesn't count anymore, so just remove that line. And they haven't, let's see, you've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If they take this out, they're really not heading down any longer, but they're also not heading up until they take this out. Right across here. So this could also be a little sweet spot if they go deeper. And let's see if we can get a conservative trade. We're going to strictly look for a box trade. Still holding support. Remember, we need an A, a B, and a C. We haven't gotten we've gotten an A, a B, and a C with this shorter term right here, but not 10 ticks to the bottom, so we're not taking it. Okay, there's an A, a B. Let's see if we get a C. A, B. Remember, if they break these little swings like this on an ABC, you got to have at least 10 ticks to the bottom. Okay? You don't want to take chances of, double bottom, for instance, and only go for like 5 ticks. You'll never make it. Let's see, this next trade is my only trade of the day on CL for 94. Oh, cool. Was that short I took this morning too then, I'll bet? Let's see. Okay, you have an A, a B, but no C yet. Let's fast forward it and see if we get. Now there's definitely an A, a B, and a C, right? All right, so what type of trade are you looking for here? Anybody? Are you long? Anybody? Are you looking at long trades yet? Not if you look to the left to trade the right. To me, this would have to take out this swing right here, would have to turn the background green, and it would do that if it took that out. Would have to come back and at least kiss it and then take off. Or it would have to come lower than this, so we need a lower high than this, so I'm going to bring it down a couple of ticks. And this is actually a little sweet spot to me, right in through here, like so, line 7 or line 6 trade. Let's see if we can get one of them. Raymond, I know this is the one you got because I nailed it too. But let's see if we can just do it the legitimate way that we teach. What do you think? Anybody? Is that actually doing a little rollover so far? Well, it closed back below line 6. Could it be? Well, you could wait for the power meter. Now, keep in mind, if you're going to take these phantom type trades, you really more than likely want to already be in this thing at like line 6. See what I mean? Because line 6 is either going to hold or it's not. And you can put your stop inside, this little area, because it doesn't usually take that out, by the way. Not very often at all. Okay? That's an aggressive trade right there. All right. Now, a less aggressive trade would be if you wait for it to, for instance, draw a little area. What if you decide, you know what? I think I might want to go below midband even. Because could this be a trend change? Nope. Not yet. This is still a lower high, isn't it? Now, if you were really wanting to protect your coin, you could always put your stop just above that swing, just so you're not risking so much. See, that'd be $140. Exit on close might be a little bit more. Put a target down at the low. And just like Raymond and I did this morning, this little trade just kept on dropping. Anybody remember that trade at all? And it just kept dropping and kept dropping. And that was a monster trade. But how many people end up getting long? Let's say, for instance, you're thinking, you know what, if this breaks this little swing here, I'm going to go long. Well, if you do, scalp it then. And you could have gotten a little scalp, okay? But keep in mind that when you get this first time into phantom after a trend change, that is a good little trade to short, okay? You could even take it like this, see the thrust retrace, draw your trend line. See where you get your first thrust and retrace, where you can draw a trend line. You can even take it when it breaks that trend line if you wanted to. If it's shot up like this, though, you want to redraw your trend line like we taught years ago, like this even, and you'd probably want to take it on a break of, well, like even here, for instance, if you drew it along the bottoms, like so, you could even be short as it broke, okay? Trend lines I'm going to teach on the next webinar. But get in the habit of watching for these phantom trades because they are killer trades. And I think, Raymond, where did you get in this thing? Was it 94? Just right at line 6? Pretty close? Cool. Because watch what oil actually did. We'll just leave it going for a bit. Could you have cleaned house on a trade like that? Now, does anybody remember, though, in the room this morning, and we're going to wrap here in just a minute because I am running a little bit late, because I actually did call and got a long trade when we broke. Everybody remember when we broke a little swing? We got a long trade, and I mean, it was a monster too. But it was about, if I remember right, it was after 9 o'clock. Let's see if we can see if we can see it. But let's put our stop. You got to always move your stop. Move your target. And it took us out, didn't it? Now, is that another good short rollover? The answer is yes. I called that in the room this morning. I'm not going to take it because I've got it going at 500 times. Okay. Now, let me just real quick go over when does this thing actually change trends? You've got a low here, a high here, and a lower low, but it's only lower by like 5 ticks. I don't trust these when they barely break this. See, you got your green background. Anybody remember this in the room this morning? You just barely break this little swing here and take it up some, but we did call it. We got a nice little long trade on that. Remember it? But what was the overall trend still? It was pretty much to the downside, wasn't it? See there? And it just kept dropping after that and dropping after that. But real quick, you missed a trade. What's our rule of thumb? Well, you had a minimum criteria trade, but you weren't real sure of that one at that time. But you definitely had one with a red background and a magenta midband. That was a minimum criteria trade. So what if you missed that one? Well, look for another minimum criteria trade to set up. Draw on your chart. Shouldn't be able to take out that swing if we're going to head down, right? So this is a little sweet spot so far in this little area right through here. I'm not going to take it, but let's just see if we can get it. Draw you a trend line. And you're short. Beautiful trade too. Everybody see how to do that now? Wait for the trade to come to you, and you're going to improve your trading a tremendous amount. What would it take to change the trend on this chart? Anybody? Well, it's got to break lightning 3, right? And keep in mind, even if it breaks lightning 3, you can still go back into a tailspin if you draw your trend lines and everything. But anybody remember this trade? Watch and see real quick. I'll try to call it as it happens. You've got a lightning swing right here. They can't take it out if they're going to head down, right? So they're still heading down. Now you can't take out this swing and continue down, right? Let's see what happens. Now which swing can't you take out? Anybody remember that trade called at 55 this morning? Right there. See where it came down below midband? Popped back above 55, and off it went. And that trade call was made exactly at 55 this morning in the trading room. See how you can see how these things will change directions? It's no secret. I mean, we teach, there's another trade, by the way. We teach how to see this in real time. So, be sure and watch Lightning 3, and you'll know when the trend changes, even before the backgrounds change. Okay? And if it did happen to reverse on you, you got to break it first, then you got to pull back. And we called the trade when it broke again, right here at 55, and off she went. Okay? And we're going to continue doing that in the room so everybody can make money. Thanks, everybody, for coming tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Paul S., on your question, basically what we do is we teach people to see the trades in real time. I could actually show you as far as that goes, but it's on my other computer. I did 3,000 on oil alone today. But I'll be more than happy to. Matter of fact, I'll show it in the room tomorrow. How's that? I'll just get a copy of it and show it. Renko bars, Richard, on your question, right click, go to data series, where it says range bars right here, go to Renko, Object Trader Renko, and set it for 242 or 362 or something like that. Okay. But Paul, one thing on your question too, though, keep in mind that, you know, and I know there's a lot of them out there that will use their dome and all that. And how many of them lose and nobody trusts their trades to begin with? We teach people to see these in real time. We want you to be able to fish and feed yourself. And if you'll remember, this trade was definitely called in the room this morning. And I don't remember exactly where it went to, but it went up, if I remember right, 70 ticks or better. Okay. All right. And we'll see everybody in the morning. Thanks again for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. Always remember those mid bands and those minimum criteria trades and those phantom trades. Thanks again.